Hello, it's Tim again here, another movie review, this time for Don't Worry Darling, which I actually just now got to see. It's been out for a little while. It's directed by Olivia Wilde, who I believe also did another movie that I think got actually good reviews. Olivia Wilde, there's like a whole like craziness about the making of this movie, and I believe Shia LaBeouf was originally supposed to be like Harry Styles' character or something. There's like a whole like crazy like behind the scenes drama about this movie and everything. But I'm just going to focus on the film itself. Now, when I was going in this movie, I heard some people say, like, well, we're seeing reactions from it. Some people were like, this movie's terrible. It's the worst thing ever. While I was watching it, I'm like, it's not that bad. I'm like, it's all right. To like, but by the time it got to the ending, I was like, yeah, that's pretty weak on that ending there. Throughout the movie, you pretty much got Florence Pugh, who was played Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow's character sister, whatever, in the Black Widow movie. She's also in the Hawkeye series. She does a good job here. She's the best performance in the movie. Harry Styles, he does good overall in the movie. He's fine. His performance with his accent or whatever is a little bit over the top and stuff like that at certain points in the movie. But you find out, of course, he chose to be British or whatever when he went to this artificial reality world. Yes, spoilers, always spoil every movie I review. But uh, so pretty much in the movie, it's kind of like it's in the 1950s, and you got all the women are like pretty much housewives, and they're just like doing the cooking and cleaning, while the husbands just go off to work. They don't tell their wives what they're doing, and just come back randomly at times during the day. And through most of the movie, it's Florence Pugh and like Harry Styles like having constant sex over and over. Later on, you find out in the movie it's pretty much because he didn't get laid a lot in reality when Florence Pugh would come home from working all day, and that the reason he put her in the artificial reality is because he basically felt insecure. They're probably feeling like his wife might cheat on him or something like that because he didn't have a job and all that. He was pretty much like incel behavior where he just felt really insecure and everything. So instead of like being happy for his wife having a job and like rubbing her back and stuff when she got home and helping out by doing some cooking and cleaning and stuff, he's just got really insecure. And you find out that basically there's this artificial program where you can put like these things on people's eyes and it puts them into this virtual reality world. And it's all the men are running it. And it's shaped like that. It's pretty much created to be like the 1950s or whatever. That way it can be back in the day when women, just kind of stayed at home and they were in their place and all that. It's a metaphor for that. Most of this movie was really felt like it was trying to be like the female version of Get Out, and on and the kind of that's a good idea on paper, but the problem with watching it is I'm like, well, I've kind of already seen this movie and Get Out. So when the movie was playing or whatever, and you get to these scenes like they're kind of like psychedelic, where Florence Pugh's like having hallucinations and stuff, like chicks dancing like ballerinas and everything, and you got this black chick in there who ends up committing suicide because she knows what's going on, and she can't escape and everything, and so it does really feel like Get Out, and it's not so much bad, but it just feels like I've seen this, I've seen this movie already. Um, it's just all right. Olivia Wilde is in the movie. She does a good job here. She's fine. Um, by the time you get like halfway through the movie and everything, like, or not even halfway through it, like pretty much in the first act, really, Florence Pugh starts seeing stuff and noticing stuff that kind of seems off. I think this movie would have played stronger for me if it would have just felt like the 1950s, because as soon as the movie starts, it already feels weird. Like they're already trying to let you know that something's up here, because at the beginning or whatever, when they're throwing like a party and all that, and like Harry Styles randomly like grabs this dude and kisses him, he's supposed to be his friend, and I'm like, I have no problem with like gay people or anything or whatever, but it's like in the 1950s, if another dude kissed another dude like on the mouth or whatever, I think people might react a little weirder to that, but nobody's doing anything. So the movie's trying to drop you like hints and clues that this isn't really what it seems throughout as soon as it starts, which I think was kind of a mistake. Like it's too early in the movie where something weird is going on, because the whole movie, even from the start, like treats the place like, or Chris Pine is like a cult leader, like he's running everything as a cult leader, and it doesn't totally work, really, because it's already letting you know that everything is like screwed up in this place and everything. And I think it's just too early to reveal that something's off. I think it would have worked better if the whole like cult leader thing with Chris Pine and everything, all that was just kind of gone, and it was just this 1950s world and everything that this chick was in, and you just really felt like this movie was going to be about the 1950s, and then like halfway through it, then it switched into like a totally different movie that was a sci-fi film or more science fiction, like it becomes. I think that would have worked better. Like kind of like what they did with like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it starts as like a crime heist movie, and then by the halfway point it transforms into a vampire movie. I think that would have been better and smarter if they could have pulled that off. But no, they pretty much let you know right off the bat that something weird is going on here. Florence Pugh, of course, discovers the weird shit's happening. You find out Harry Styles, like I said, is just this incel dude or whatever who's angry about the fact he can't get a job and all that shit. And he's got his wife in this artificial program. And she kills him basically eventually because he's like grabbing a hold of her and won't let her leave and all that because he doesn't want her to like get out even though she wants to, and she freaks out and hits him with a cup to just pretty much get her off of it, get him off of her. But it does kill him by accident because of that. And then Olivia Wilde shows up and you find out that she actually knew everything was artificial and she's in there on purpose because she wants to be there with her kids, you know, her artificial version of her kids, because in real life she lost her kids. They don't really say how or why. I'm assuming they must have died somehow. So she wants to live in this world where she basically has her kids. That is understandable, really, for a person, even though it's not good to like kind of deflect into a fantasy world, you know, like that, for that kind of situation, to like hide from reality. But that's understandable why someone would do that. So I kind of like that. And I'm at this point, I'm like, oh, this movie's all right. And then they do that silly cliche thing where it's like, you killed Harry Styles in the fantasy world, that means he's dead in reality. It's like, that doesn't make sense. That wouldn't work. And of course, they do that in the Matrix as well, where it's like you died, your mind makes it real. It's like, you know, that doesn't really work. That doesn't make sense logically. So, but they want to do that to raise the stakes, because if you can't be killed in the artificial world and somebody just takes you out and you can't die, then really there's like really no way that she'd be able to escape if they just like, you know, knocked them out. But Harry Styles just like woke up in the real world and was just there and was just able to keep her under. Then there would be no way for her to get out. But she takes off running or whatever to try to get out of there, and the artificial world is collapsing and exploding. She's bringing the whole thing down. They're losing control of it, and in this really, like, you get a pretty fun little car chase scene at the end where she's trying to get away to get to this tower or whatever so she can escape. It's pretty much like the center point of the artificial world, I guess, where if you go to it and touch it, it can wake you up, I suppose. And she goes there to try to escape and everything. And it's a pretty decent little car chase. And then you get this really stupid twist where Chris Pine, all at once, his wife just walks over there and stabs him. And she's like, I'm taking over the program now, you silly man. It comes completely out of nowhere. Like, there was no build up to it at all. There was nothing to give signs of it whatsoever. It would have made more sense if we discovered that he like had her under there for a specific reason so he could have like control of the company or something. But they never drop a scene of it or anything. It just comes completely out of nowhere. And I have a feeling there was probably some kind of deleted scene or something that led to that would have hinted at that happening. But they just took it out, which is stupid. But she makes it to the building and she gets like one more like vision or whatever of Harry Styles like holding on to her, like, don't leave me. And you can tell that she is sad about the fact that she had to kill her husband, or that she killed her husband basically in self-defense. You can tell that she is sad about that, but she touches the thing because she does want to wake up, and you hear her breathe like, oh, as the screen goes to black, and it goes, don't worry darling, like written across the screen. Like, the movie kind of collapses on itself by the end because of the stupid Chris Pine twist. If it wouldn't have been for that, it would have been like, well, this film is decent. It would have been like a 2.5 movie, because of the way they waste Chris Pine's character by the end, where I was like, before that, I was like, this movie's all right. When they did that, I was like, what the hell? By the time you get to the last scene or whatever, overall, this would be a low 2 stars out of 4. It is a passable flick. This is not an absolutely horrible movie. There is some good stuff here. This movie could work. This concept could work under a better script. And of course, the whole idea they try to get here is like, you know, these men are like trying to control their wives and everything and all that, in this artificial world and everything. I get it, wanting to be like a female version of Get Out, but at the same time, some parts of it are a little bit too on the nose, like the men are on stage screaming or whatever, going, this is our world, ah! That was a little ridiculous. Overall, though, I think they play it mostly fine, but the writing here for the for this movie overall, it just kind of feels like a been there, done that in terms of what we've already seen already with Get Out. And then by the end, the way the main villain, Chris Pine, is just dispatched is just really stupid. Overall, it'd be a low 2 out of 4. Not a terrible movie, but not something I'd really watch again. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.